You ever walk into a meeting thinking, did anyone even hear what I just said? I mean, you made a point, a clear, logical one, and everyone just nodded vaguely. They went back to their laptops and they moved on like you were background noise. Yeah, that's brutal. You're leading a team, you're trying to make progress, but it feels like your words just bounce off the walls. You start second guessing yourself. Maybe you weren't clear enough. Maybe you should have said it louder. Maybe you're just overreacting. But again, here's the truth. You're not crazy. Not for this, at least. You're being tuned out. And it happens to a lot of really good managers. The weird part, it's not because people don't respect you. It's because they've stopped needing to listen. When you're the manager, people start assuming that they already know what you're going to say. They've heard your style, your expectations, we need to hit targets. They've heard that talk 100 times. So mentally, they checked out before you even finished your first sentence. It's not disrespect. It's familiarity. It's because they're familiar with it. You've become part of the office background noise, like the hum of the coffee machine. And here's the twist. When you feel ignored, most managers double down. They repeat themselves. They get louder and they over-explain, which only makes people tune out faster. So what do you actually say or do when you're being ignored? You do one thing that most managers never try. You disrupt the pattern. Try this the next time you're in that moment. Say something along the lines of, hey, I feel like I might have just lost the room here for a second. What's landing? What's not? And then stop. Let it breathe. You're not calling anyone out specifically. You're calling attention in. You're showing awareness. You're making space. And you're forcing a shift from passive hearing to active listening. It works because people don't expect vulnerability from their manager. They expect you to just plow through the agenda. So when you actually pause and check in, you start earning the attention instead of demanding it. And once you've got their attention again, say something like, I'm not looking for a yeah, makes sense. I want to know what you really think. What are we missing here? That line tells the team you're not performing leadership, you're doing it. And if you're sitting here thinking, yeah, I need to get better at that kind of leadership, that's literally what I'm building inside the Better Boss Club. It's a private membership for managers who don't just want advice. They want systems and habits that actually work in the real world. The doors aren't open at the moment, but in the link in the description, you can unlock founding member pricing and get first access for when the launch happens. That way, when we open the doors, you're already on the list to be the first inside, ready to start actually applying the stuff, not just watching it here on YouTube. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper here. You see, getting attention isn't about volume. It's about contrast. If you sound the same every time you speak to people, you tune them out. Even if what you're saying is pure gold. So you got to mix it up. You got to change your rhythm, shift your tone, ask questions instead of making statements. Instead of saying, we need to tighten up communication here. Try something like, what's one thing we keep dropping the ball on when it comes to communication? Now your team's thinking. Now they're involved. And when people help build the answer, they remember it, they own it. That's the shift. You stop being a talking head and you start being a thought partner. When people feel like they're part of shaping the solution, they want to listen to you. Another move that helps, call out the behavior without the attitude. Let's say you share an idea and just everyone's silent. You can say, I'm not sure if the silence means we agree or we don't care. Which one is it? You're not saying it's snarky, it's real. And it breaks the invisible rule of pretending that everything is fine. I'm just thinking of the meme of that fire. It's fine, I'm fine. Anyways. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is probably going to feel awkward for a few seconds. But that honestly is going to reset the room. Because here's what's happening when you start leading like that. People begin to expect that when you speak, something's going to shift. Not just another update. Not just another reminder. It's going to be a real conversation. And that's when your voice starts carrying weight again. Because now, when you speak, people aren't just hearing you, they're engaged. Now, I've got to say this, because I've seen too many managers trip over this part. Once people do start speaking up, you've got to resist the urge to immediately correct them. You can't ask for real input and then get defensive the second somebody disagrees. That's how trust is going to die. If you want to be heard, you've got to model what listening actually looks like, even if the feedback stings a little bit, especially when it stings. So here's a little trick that I use. I don't like the sting, but here's the trick. When someone pushes back, instead of defending myself and my point, I just say more about that. That one line keeps the door open. It buys you time to think, and it shows your team that you're actually valuing their perspective and not just their agreement. Because if people don't feel heard by you, they're never going to hear you, and that's the loop that most managers miss. Now let's talk about another habit that kills your impact almost immediately. And it's sneaky. Sometimes the reason you're not being heard isn't because your ideas are bad. It's because you're always the one talking. You fill every silence. You explain every detail. You summarize your own point. You make the decision and you wrap it up before anyone has a chance to frickin' breathe. I get it. You're trying to keep things efficient, but efficiency can actually kill engagement. So here's the fix. Say your piece and then just stop talking. Let the silence sit just a few beats longer than you're comfortable with. Because that pause, that's not awkward. That's power. It's where people start processing. It's where authority lives. When you rush to fill every gap, you teach your team that their input's not needed. You've already decided. When you pause, you teach them that it is. It is needed. And that's when you start seeing heads lift. People will lean in. They start responding. Not because you ask them to, but they feel like they're invited in the conversation. And that's how you start being heard. Not by forcing it, by earning it. Because the truth is, people don't listen to the loudest voice in the room. Ask me how I know. They listen to the one that makes them think. The one that makes them feel respected. The one that says, I see you and I want your brain in on this conversation. That's leadership. It's not louder, it's smarter. Not more words, more meaning. And if you want to lead like that, if you want to stop repeating yourself, stop being ignored, and actually build a team that listens, you're going to want to get on the wait list for the Better Boss Club. Because that's where we're going beyond theory. We're actually going to build the habits that make this stuff stick. We're going as a team, as a community. We're going to help each other create a rhythm where people want to listen. They want to contribute and actually want to follow your lead. Again, the doors aren't open yet, but sign up using the link in the description to get on the wait list so that you don't miss your shot at founding member prices and early access. Because the managers who move first, they're the ones who change the game. Being heard isn't about talking louder. It's about leading in a way that people can't ignore you. And what I can't ignore right now is this cup of coffee. So I'm going to grab it. I'll see you in the next video.